Hello, and welcome to 15 Minutes of Fame. 15 Minutes of Fame is 15 one-minute works that are written for a specific musician or ensemble. Today, all the pieces have been written for David Bohn playing the toy piano. We actually received 100 submissions for this call, and David has been doing as much as he can with many different sets. This is going to be our third set of 15 Minutes of Fame for this call. A native from Wisconsin, David Bohn, in his career as an organist, has given premieres of over 50 organ works. He currently resides in West Allis, Wisconsin, and is an organist and choir director. David Bohn is a strong advocate for both the toy piano and miniature forms of composition. 15 Minutes of Fame and his 100-note toy project exemplify his commitment and dedication to the instrument and the genre. And the first composer that we have will be Jose.
Hello, I am a Japanese composer, Motohide Taguchi. My 1-minute piece is called Hika, a sad song. The piece is based on a Japanese mode, and its uneasy atmosphere reflects our lives in the era of the pandemic of the COVID-19. Thank you very much for the great efforts to Mr. David Bohn and Mr. Robert Voicy to realize this interesting project.
Hi there, my name is Volker Ignaz Schmidt. I live in Germany, in the southern part of the country, just very close to the border of the mythical Black Forest. In my piece Konakor, which I wrote for David Bohn, I'm traveling to India, to the southern part of India, and I'm using traditional rhythms. That's the basic idea of the piece, and I'm trying to explore this in 1 minute, which is not very easy, but I think it works pretty well. So the rhythms work that way that you perform the beat with your voice. You speak some syllables, they are given. The ones I use in the piece are the following. It's da, taka, takadimi, takita, 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 dimi. Well, this would be the right hand of the toy piano. And with the left hand, David produces a 3/8 beat. Well, I leave it up to David now. Enjoy the piece.
Hello, everyone. I'm Maria Christine Muyco, a composer from the Philippines. I am currently a faculty of the University of Philippines College of Music. I teach composition and other related music courses. The piece that I have for toy piano, entitled Halin Saliso, reverberates many things. First, Halin Saliso means from the seed, and it the seed itself is a core. So it reverberates concepts of growth, of germination, and even mutation. So in this piece, this reflects many realities of today's socio-cultural and uh, scientific and other realities brought to us by the pandemic, by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the virus spread. Looking at how a core or a particular cell can actually infect or cause other cells to germinate and cause havoc. And this is the effects of this, also reflecting this on our human actions, no? That lead to other things. Now, when you have a seed, we have a cell, it leads to production as well as destruction itself. So that's what Halin Saliso means, from the seed, reverberating ideas of source and the effect of this source. Um, my piece for toy piano is, of course, my my gratitude and is extended to David Bohn, for making this possible, and with the assistance of Robert Frosty. Thank you so much, everyone.
Wow, what a great so far. And meanwhile, I want to bring on the next composer, Erik Branch. Hi, Erik. How are you?
Hi, Rob. Good. Glad to see you.
Why don't you tell our folks out there a little bit who you are, what you do, and how you do it?
Well, I'm a composer, pianist, I guess you could say an opera singer. I've for 20 years. I've acted on stage, screen, legit acting, musicals, etc. Conducted. I went to Hunter College in New York. It's where I got both of my degrees. I live near Orlando now. I work as a pianist, music director, etc., etc., all the usual things we do. I wasn't going to miss this because David is probably my foremost exponent. He's performed a lot of my music. And he has, yes. And I should say something briefly about the piece. It's called Ceremonies Performed on Crystal Instruments. It's a description of, what the sounds of it. It's hieratic, it's ritualistic, but it also, I had another meaning in mind, which is not actually mentioned in the program note. David knows about this, but no one else does. I wrote this piece a few days after Stephen Sondheim died. And this piece definitely refers to his perpetual anticipation from A Little Night Music. It's also a minuet. It has a similar rhythmic patterns. It doesn't really quote it or anything, but it's also a commemorative piece.
Wonderful. Well, I think it's time to hear it.
Hello, I am Wajdi Abou Diab, a composer from Lebanon, and I am here today to present my piece, A Dinner with the Death. This piece is a portrait of a discussion that's happening between a person who will die soon and the deaf person. I used in this piece many elements from the Arabic traditional music, some rhythms and some old melodies, especially the Arabic maqamat, that I applied these maqamat mainly with 3/4 tone. I applied them to the toy piano, which is an instrument that can't play quarters tone, to have like a kind of echo from these ancient melodies. Hope you'll enjoy it.
excuse me, I'm going to have to restart this. Little problem with the toy piano here. I want to bring up our next composer, Sergio. Hi, Sergio.
Hi, Robert.
How are you?
Hi, everyone.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are
Yes.
and
Yes.
tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I'm Sergio Naddei from Naples, Italy. I'm a composer and electronic musician. I'm very glad to be here. I want to thank you, Robert, for the organization and David for work on my piece. This is inspired by a novel by Isaac Asimov. The novel, which is based is the movie The Bicentenary Man, the story of a robot that become a human being. What else? Thank you. Enjoy the piece and see you the next time. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you later. We're going to bring everybody back.
Perfect.
Yes, and so I also want to mention to everybody out there, if you have any questions that you want to ask David or any of the composers that we're presenting today, please feel free to text in the chat and so forth, and we'd be really happy to say hello and answer some questions. Meanwhile, our next composer is Alp. Let me put him on. Hi, Alp. How's it going?
Hi, it's fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. Why don't you tell everybody about who you are and what you do?
Okay. My name is Durmaz. I'm from Turkey. I live in Istanbul. I'm a freelance composer, and my works have been performed across Europe, United States, and Turkey, of course. My piece, Alien Language, is a piece that is played backwards after the 16th measure, and then continues with a more intense and a melodic B section. The goal of the piece is unpredictability, as how it should be with an alien language. So that's all I'm going to say about my piece. Thank you.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Hello, I am Marek Feddern. I'm a composer and guitarist from northern Germany. I'm living in Bremen, and I also studied here music and geography. So I want to become a teacher in school, but I'm also doing a lot of music, and I have a band where I also do compositions for, but that's a lot guitar music. When I was studying 1 year ago, I had composition lessons at the University for Arts, and yeah, there I composed this little piece called Camino Dance. And Camino is a planet in the Star Wars universe where it is always raining. I thought of, yeah, kind of this weather when I hear this song, and dance also. If you hear it, I hope you can also hear someone or you see someone dancing to this music. And yeah, it's kind of a dancing in the rain, and that's where I came up with this title. So hope you enjoy. Thanks for the support, and yeah, I'm very proud that it's going to be played now. And yeah, if you want to check other music from me, it's my band Feathers and Greed, and yeah, bye bye.
Hello, my name is Wenbin. I'm a Cincinnati-based Chinese composer. I am so excited that David Bohn is going to perform my toy piano piece, Microcosm. This piece was composed at the last day of 2021. I went back from a party. That was a very relaxing moment to me. And before I go back, I think, okay, I want to write a piece, do some extra things. So I spent about like 30 minutes to compose this 1 minute short piece. My piece is high energy and fast paced music. It has a lot chord changes, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the music. Thank you very much.
Wow, David, thank you. Awesome.
Yes. Bravo.
Yeah, so this is our third set of 15. David, what do you think?
It's a lot of work. This one was the hardest of the 4 sets.
Sorry.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. It just took I started work on this back in June, so I've been working on it pretty steadily since then.
Hard isn't bad.
No, hard is not bad.
David is a very hard worker. I can attest for that. And David, we've talked about this before, but how many 15 minutes of fame have you done?
Well, this is technically this is the third call, but so far this is actually the 6th complete set out of it. I got 3 out of the first 2 calls, and I've got 4 out of this call, plus a bunch of leftovers that are going to end up forming another project. So quite full.
And then you've done your own. You've done your own series.
I did 2 100-note projects, partly inspired by Erik Carlson's New York Miniaturist Ensemble, using the concept of 100 notes. And then during COVID, because I was all set to do proper recordings of all the stuff from my first 2 calls, and things got shut down, so I needed to come up with something that I could do, if necessary, by myself in my office in my apartment. And that ended up netting 2 other calls. So, yeah.
Lots and lots of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, let me start with you, David. You've also written for 15 Minutes of Fame, plenty.
Yes, and gotten an amazing number of performances out of it.
Deservedly.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
deservedly.
And Erik too is, I think, one of our well attended submitters. Yes. How many have you been a part of, Erik?
Oh, I don't even know at this point. a number. It's David is probably as I said, my most prominent exponent. I think you have played something like 7 pieces of mine for different instruments. So you've done.
This would be the 7th. Yes.
Yes, 2 for organ. There was 1 for clavietta, 1 for melodica, 1 for clavichord.
And now these 2 for toy piano.
Yeah, both 2 for toy piano. Yes. Okay.
And,
Thank you.
And Sergio Alpen-Mohida. Oh yeah, Alp. Yeah.
Yes.
What brought you to this project?
Well, like Erik, not as much as Erik. David also played my melodica piece and an organ piece, and now the toy piano. So it's the 3rd time I participate.
Actually, Alp, 4th time, because you started out submitting for the Daniel Blitz clavichord project.
Yes. He yes, he reminded me.
Right. And when you talked about unpredictability prior to your piece, that is a very good description of all the pieces I've done of yours. Because the fact that you've heard one piece of Alp's does not guarantee that you know anything about any of the other pieces. They're all very drastically different and very enjoyable.
Thank you. So you remember my pieces better than me because yes, yes. It's the 4th time. Yeah. So whenever David organize something like this, I always participate. So this is what brought me to this call. Yeah.
And Sergio, so you are another guitarist on this set. Do you feel like there's any sort of like what's the different approaches that you take towards when you're writing for like a toy piano or compared to the guitar?
No, it was very very fun because I have never wrote nothing for toy piano. This is my first work for David. Thank you for working on it. It's the 2nd time I participate to your concert, to the 15 Minutes of Fame. The first was 10 years ago with a piece for piano and electronics.
Piano and electronics.
Yes, in New York. I don't remember the name of the pianist.
Oh wow!
I think the Chinese pianist.
Oh, Cheyenne Ding?
Yes. It was 10 years ago, so a lot of time ago. No, the toy piano is a very interesting instrument. I studied something for it. I obviously listened to the work of John Cage and historical work for the instrument. Is very particular because have a sound, very teeny sound, but rhythmically it's very very interesting. And I hear all the pieces this night too. Well, here is night in Italy is night. This was very, very, very interesting. I want to thank Robert another time for work on my piece. Thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure, and thank you for just being a part of this. It's great. What time is it there now at night?
9 p.m.
I'm sorry, say again.
9 p.m.
Okay. And tennis Motohide. What time is it there? You're in Japan, right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, it's so it is around 3:45 a.m. on October 9th.
Thank you so much for being
Yeah.
a part of this.
Yeah.
And what brought you to 15 Minutes of Fame and this toy piano project?
So because so this is my second piece for toy piano, and so I like toy piano. So when I found the open core information, so I wanted to try to make a new piece. And okay, and I want to say thank you very much for Mr. David Bohn. So I really enjoyed your performance. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Well, in case, let me first, if there's anybody out there who wants to ask any of the composers a question, just go ahead and chat and so forth. There's a lot of hellos and thank yous from all around. Oh wait, there's Ulf. Ulf, he's hanging out and lurking in the background. Hi, Ulf. It's good to have you. I loved your piece, and some other composers and fans and so forth. Jens, I want to thank you so much for being part of this project. It's anyway, and thank you, David. It's Herculean. This is the third set of 15 Minutes of Fame. There will be a fourth set, and because that just can't be the end. We're actually going to be doing some extra pieces, just 1 minute more, right, David?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to be doing a little bit of extra 1 minute works for toy piano as well. With that said, too, for everybody who's listening and is out there and everybody in this group and so forth, 15 Minutes of Fame is kind of got an upward momentum. We have several other calls out just this week. We have a call for Talia Rouge, who just 2 violas. They're really, really exciting. We just completed a call for horn and voice, and we have another call for voice that's not yet out, but that's coming soon. And what's our next? Jazz singer and clarinetist that is coming up. Those are just the ones I can think of right off the bat, and we've got some more there in the pipeline and so forth. So I really, all great musicians. So I recommend it. Oh, and what am I saying? There's also David's calls.
Right. The Taisha Godo project, and also my very good friend Stas Wenglewski, an absolutely amazing accordionist. It took 7 years, but I finally got him to do a 15 Minutes of Fame call.
So the time is now. If you want to write for accordion, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, accordion would be good.
And you also have that workshop coming up. So
yes,
anybody who is maybe a little bit shy about writing for a new instrument, this is the opportunity to put in a draft and, hang out with us. Hear David go through it because he's not busy enough. And then, get some more ideas for another 1 minute piece. It would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Jens, I want to thank you again. I want to thank everybody for coming in and listening. And more. We've got another this weekend. We're actually just going to do a stream of another show, but we have also more 15 Minutes of Fame. The next 15 Minutes of Fame is in December with David. David, it's December 18th. Is that
That
right?
that sounds right.
So please come and join us for that. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.